My name's Erica Farmer. I'm a professional speaker, trainer, and author in AI and future skills. My background is 25 years corporate learning and development with some of the UK's largest brands, such as British Gas, LV, Virgin, and Specsavers. Since then, I've been running my own business in digital learning development and professional speaking, and I specialise in what I call the AI dividend. So, how people can really engage with AI technology to get that incremental personal benefit that makes their personal life better as well as their professional life better, and helps organisations scale when it comes to AI enablement. Working with lots of different organisations currently, including the NHS, Simply Business, Fujitsu, so many I can't name really. So technology is technology, right? I think we get as humans a response based on our build, our physiological makeup when it comes to things like change and transformation, no matter how you wrap it up. And in 25 years of leading learning and development HR functions, I've had to head up lots of deployments of technology and change during that time. And of course, I'm now very specifically doing that with clients in regards to AI. I think the opportunity and the unlock to really innovate and scale when it comes to partnering with AI is treating people as people and not treating them as users or numbers or people that have to go through AI training, for example. Now, don't get me wrong, AI literacy and AI training is super, super important. And one of my businesses does that and is very busy doing that at the moment. But it's important to engage people when it comes to hearts and minds, particularly around AI, because the tension there is you're asking me to use a technology when all I hear about on the media is it's going to take my job. So why would I do that? What's in it for me? What's the WIFM? And that's where the AI dividend piece comes in. But also giving people that time and space to really digest and articulate, why do I feel the way I do about AI? Why am I scared of it or guilty that I'm not using it or shamed that I am using it and it feels like cheating and all these other things that, there's a plethora of emotional reaction that we're seeing to this technology. And AI is, I would say, digital transformation on steroids because of the narrative, because of the media, because there's still a lot of gaps in people's understanding around that. And when we have gaps in understanding, we kind of fill in the gaps ourselves and make it up, which is why things like psychological safety and leadership messaging is so important in these kind of enablements. So I'm working with a lot of leaders in that space at the moment, really just to say to them, look, you guys have to step up and tell people it's okay to experiment with this stuff. And I've learned all of that through my 25 years in corporate, really. Digital transformation and stress kind of go hand in hand historically because of change, because of the C word, which is change. And unless you're leading the charge when it comes to change, or specifically it's your idea, we often feel like we're being done to when it comes with that stuff. And that's why the hearts and minds stuff's so important, so people feel included. But there's other ways that organisations can support people, particularly when it comes to AI and their well-being and the mental health. Now, what I'm not saying here is that we replace the human intervention in any kind. I'm not saying AI is going to take the role of a counsellor or a therapist or a psychologist or any of the above, really. When there's more dark days and there is nice days and light days for us, we should be engaging with those kind of professional support services. What I'm saying is you can provide a well-being strategy which has AI as part of that. The other parts could be an employee assistance program. It could be training and skills and webinars and support and resources and wellness champions and all those kind of good things. But, when we need those little nudges, those little moments of support, when we can't access our line manager to have a conversation, perhaps our organisation doesn't have the budget for an employee assistance program or those wellness initiatives, or you are prepping some work out of hours or whatever it might be, sometimes you can use AI to just give you that little support in the moment when you need that. So examples of that could be, I don't know, you might be having some anxiety around a presentation you've got to the exec that 8 o'clock next morning, right? And perhaps you don't feel confident enough, you haven't practiced enough, or, sometimes you get that email at the last minute from your boss going, oh, I've just found out we need to include this, this, and this. And you're thinking, oh my God, I'm worried enough as it is. We can log on to a large language model, and I'm very tool agnostic. It doesn't matter to me which one people use as long as they use it in the right way. And you can role play the presentation. You can calm your nerves. You can ask it for some box breathing techniques. You can ask it to signpost some resources if you're feeling a certain way. Perhaps if you've had a diagnosis of a health condition and you don't know how to communicate that to your manager, you can ask AI to help you draft an email that covers all the key points in regards to perhaps reasonable adjustments that you might be asking for in the workplace. So it's that real ally, that support, that addition to, which can take away some of that stress when we do live in a high stress environment when it comes to digital and tech. And we know that because we're losing that human connection. So that's why I talk about that human first AI enablement and implementation. It's now more important than ever because of all these reasons. So in the book and on the podcast, we always start, and again, I'll talk about people first. So before you go off, kind of working with large scale implementation, or you might hear the board talking about, 25% productivity gain over to you HR, over to you L&D, and you kind of start thinking, oh my God, I don't know how I feel about this myself, let alone how I talk to stakeholders about this. That's number one. Sit down and spend a little bit of time thinking, how do I feel about this? Why do I have a certain emotional reaction? Am I excited about this? Am I not excited about this? How much do I really need to know about AI? Because what L&D and HR are great at, that people consulting, that stakeholder management, that influencing, we need those skills now more than ever. So go and do what you're already great at. You don't need to be a computer scientist or a kind of a tech savvy guru. But there's enough people, there's enough information out there just to kind of learn some of the basic terms, and then go and ask the question, what is the problem that we're looking to solve with AI? Because it's not about rushing in and deploying agents against workflows and going to the board and saying, right, 100% take up on Copilot. But actually all we're doing is rewriting emails. I'm seeing quite a lot of that kind of stuff. Go and do what you're great at. Go and find the real problem, go and influence and work with stakeholders, and then go and solve their problems. And that's how we all know that's how you get people on board. So it's not about doing something different. It's just about looking at what you do with a slightly different lens. So in my book, AI for People Professionals, I've written it in a really practical way, and it's been classed as a blueprint for HR leaders, which is so exciting to hear through the endorsements and the pre-reads that it's currently got. It takes you as a HR leader, and when I say HR leader, you could be L&D, you could be talent, recruitment, a partner, a leader, whatever, right from the how do I feel through to the what does it mean for our operating model, and then how do I really maximize this in the employee life cycle. So things like wellbeing, learning development skills, talent acquisition, recruitment, retention. Think about it, and it's there. The book isn't there to baffle people with science. It's really designed as that step-by-step guide to really uncover what these terms mean and what they mean to us as HR practitioners. And we've had some fantastic feedback so far. So if you're unsure around what does that step-by-step look like, what does a great prompt look like, how can I deploy large language models in wellbeing, in L&D, in skills intelligence, all of the above, then definitely go and have a read of the book.